First, right out of the gate, what type of toilet paper do you use at your house? Now, I will confess, if you look, don't just...
I am looking right now.
Please don't look at my roll. This is an embarrassing byproduct of our previous episode wherein I ranked 11 toilet papers, and I have to use them. And so this is the bottom, number 11, like worst toilet paper. And I was like, we're sticking it on the roll because we got to get through it. Dude, dog, look at how...
You should just give that to Michael. It's basically what he has in it.
This is what the church used to have.
Oh, I used to give him... You should trade it. I'm sure the church has a slightly better quality.
You can see through it. Welcome back to Privy. Privy is a podcast about bathrooms, recorded from my home bathroom. I'm your host, Hunter Hoover. I love bathrooms, and I'm joined this week in home bathroom. I always ask people whenever they come on the show, is it the weirdest greeting when I open the front door and say, all right, well, we'll head on into the bathroom. But I'm joined by Pedro Quiroz. Pedro, how are you?
I'm doing, I'm a little frazzled actually this morning. It's not because of the bathroom, Hunter. Okay. But I'm doing well. I'm doing pretty well this morning.
I don't know how much, and I always tell everybody this. If there's ever anything that we talk about that you're like, yeah, we gotta cut that later. Editing is a wonderful, wonderful thing. But you have a shirt on that says "Dad of 3." What I believe is, which is true, but what I think is fascinating, and maybe is part of the frazzled morning, is that you guys have like twins and a young one, all under 3.
Yep.
So you guys are busy.
Yeah, I think that's actually a part of the reason being frazzled was many mornings I feel like I'm waking up to my son and then quickly joined by my son of 2 years and then my the twins for about 6 months each. And so then it feels like whenever you start the morning off of like that hitting you first, I think it's a lot harder than if I get to wake up first and kind of traverse it myself. So that was a little bit of this morning. Yeah,
you got to get up and have the routines for sure.
Yeah.
Do your kids get up pretty early? Are they up all night?
Typically around, I would say 7 to 7:30, but since they've been getting over sickness, it's just one of those two where like sometimes you don't get very good sleep, so then like I'm a little bit already dozed off when I finally do, and then when I wake up it's just like thrown right back into reality. But it just depends on the morning. This morning I just felt like it was kind of going well, and then I had a couple things I had to do, and at the same time you got my son trying to pull me, and then of course our twins, and so it just kind of turned into a little bit of a...
Well, they outnumber you now, so that's part of it too.
Yeah, we skipped straight from 1 to 3, so I don't get to feel out what having just 2's like. Which what's the difference in your experience between just 1 and 2?
Oh, between 1 and 2, oh man. For me, so like that's a good question. I think for me there was this, when there's 1, it's like we got this. There's no we don't have to like split labor on these kids. There's not like a plan. It's, well, who's got it? We're both doing whatever. There's 2 of us. But especially around bedtime with 2, and I imagine it's amplified with 3, there is a clear, okay, whose mom got tonight, whose dad got tonight, like, who's doing this, and there's a clear division of
responsibilities.
Yep. It's like, okay, I got him, I'm taking him over here. I will meet you with her there. And then other times, it's just like they still outnumber you because either mom's doing something or dad's doing something. It's like, oh gosh. All right, you're gonna have to be okay with this for the next hour and a half, and if you're not, it's gonna make it hard for everybody. So here we go. But I imagine middle of the night is especially with 2 because there's like an unspoken where like I put my son back to bed and my wife puts my daughter back to bed. Consequently, my son doesn't sleep well through the night. So, hooray. Which he gets from me, so it actually makes more sense that I'm actually tasked with that because I was a 2-3 time a night waker. Like, Mom, I can't go to sleep.
So my question is it one of those where you can hear him, or does he come to your door?
Oh, combo deal. Like, he does this thing that I call the like football across the floor. You can hear it. It's I swan to John. The kid comes out of his room and he, how the football guys will do the drill, like, and then they'll hit the deck. He does that across our hard floor. Gets to our door and opens it really slow, and I'm like, What, bud? I can't go to sleep. And I'm like, well, maybe it's because your heart rate just went from probably like 65, 70 to 110 because you're doing football drills in the middle of the hallway at 2 a.m. Well, I need your help. And then, no joke, this may be something you have to look forward to. I don't know how your kids do going back to sleep. I put my son into bed, blanket up. Good night, buddy. Get back to sleep. And he's done. He's back to sleep. I was like, you didn't need my help for this, really. Like, this was more of a mental process that you had to like, oh, dad's in the room. I left immediately. He's not even awake. He doesn't know.
I think that's exactly how it is with our kid. It's funny because last night, so our kid typically, most of the time my wife puts him to sleep because it's the fastest way to get him there. But he woke up, he wakes up between an hour and 2 hours after he falls asleep.
Really?
And he almost always, it has to be mom right now is the process. But it's funny because last night I woke up and it's one of those times where you could tell he was not awake still, but he was up.
Yeah.
So he was just staring at his wall. Like, completely like this. And then we were talking to him. Sometimes you can tell when he's alert and saying something like, Mom, and you can tell he's noticing. But he was like, it sounded like he was just talking to the wall in gibberish as we were setting him back down. So we thought at first he was talking to us. We're like, what's like
sleep talk?
You're like asleep. You just need one to like specifically apply mom to like pat you back down. And then he went right back down.
Well, and I've had conversations with my son in the middle of the night. Like, Dad, I can't go to sleep. I was like, what's wrong? My foot hurts. Okay. Well, I don't know what you want me to do about that. Like, why does your foot hurt? I don't know. And then, a minute conversation. And then in the morning, he'll get up. Hey, bud, how's your foot feeling? Huh? How's your foot feeling? My foot's fine. And I was like, it wasn't at 2, 3 in the morning. You were like asking for kids Tylenol because your foot hurt so bad. And I told you no. No, I didn't. I was like, did I dream this? And then I asked, I'm like, Anna, she goes, I don't know. I was asleep. I'm like, there's no evidence. I have no evidence. It's me against this kid. And he's like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, no, this can't be real. And then you start to like, on the really tired mornings, you start to question, like, is this simulation? Like, was I the one that woke up and he's been asleep and I had a dream that he woke me up? Like, or is he just, I know he doesn't do that, but is he gaslighting me? Like, no, I'm good.
So this is what I've wondered. So less with my kids. My kids can't talk yet. At least not enough that I think they can really
strap in,
like go to that distance. But I was
once
thinking,
they start, they don't stop.
Well, but I don't know if it's a marriage thing or not. Like me and you sharing this, but with my wife, ever since we've had kids, because I now understand. Like, okay, my memory is not as strong as it was before kids.
Yeah.
It's harder to be focused. But there's been several instances where we talk at like. And then a couple days later, I'm like, well, remember when we talked and did this? And like, we talked, this is what we're going to do this week. And she was like, I didn't say that. Like, I don't remember ever saying that. And I'm just like, I feel like it's the first time I started getting frustrated being like, am I actually imagining and going crazy? Or are you just like not actually remembering, which is frustrating?
The tough part is, I think in the marriage context, I am more your wife. Because Anna will like, hey, don't forget Thursday night. This confession time when we had y'all over a month or so ago. No joke. Anna, I even remember her setting the plans up with y'all at church and texting. I remember all that. And Thursday night comes around and I'm like, hey, I'm going to be recording with Jesse. I do parable stuff with him. I was like, I am recording with Jesse on Thursday. She goes, no, you're not. I was like, for what? What do we have Thursday? Thursday's free night. And she goes, no, we have plans. I was like, are we going out? Like, what are we doing? She goes, no, Pedro and Rachel are coming over. I was like, wait, that's this week? Since when? She goes, it's been on the calendar on the wall. I put it in the phone, which is shared with you. And I look, sure enough, there it is. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. She goes, I don't know how you didn't know. We talked about it Tuesday. Like, I told you, hey, don't forget to buy this on your way home. So that way we have it for when they come over Thursday. I was like, oh, yeah. I don't know. I mean, just... gone.
I think so. What's funny is I would say actually I'm the same way with that. But when we're talking about something not about plans, specifically, but we're talking about like growth goals that we have for each other, or just something we noticed about each other, and we're just like talking about that day. Like those are the things that seems like I will stay focused and remember. She won't. But yeah, whenever it's like stuff, she's the one that is the planner, remembers it, and then I'm like, oh, I know you've mentioned it 3 times this week, and I still forgot.
So Anna's fixing to go to Italy like in 3 days, and she has handed me a handwritten note of like my son's baseball schedule I think it's on my phone somewhere, either in text or in calendar. I'm confident that if it's not written on the thing, it'll probably get written on the thing in the next couple days. And I know that there's going to be a moment where she's going to be in Italy with her sister, and I'm going to be, hey, can you remind me, like, text me his schedule? And she'll do it. But I know, I am confident that what goes through her brain is like, read the wall. Like, just read it. I've done it all for you. And part of that is the way that I stay organized. This drives my boss nuts at the school. Is if it's not in a Google Calendar and on my thing, I text myself. Like, I just text myself.
That's very smart.
And I've had people look at my phone and it's like, why do you have messages from yourself? And it'll say like 14 messages to me. And I'm like, oh, that's like me taking notes. And it's like, why don't you just put it in the notes? And I said, well, if I put it in the notes, I won't go look at it.
That's actually a really good thing because I put in notes, but I have a hard time being like, there's got to be a better way because I don't look at my notes all the time. So I'll have to start texting myself.
Yeah, I even like have myself saved as like a featured person on my phone. Look at I just like send myself links. I mean, that's all I do. It's one-sided conversation.
Maybe instead I'll actually just send it. I'll text you and you can text it back to me.
Well, and in the worst moments where I'm like really rushed, I'll text Anna. No context. Like this happens a lot Sunday mornings when I meet somebody new and I'm like, oh, I have to remember their name so I can look them up in the system and send them a thing. And I'll just text Anna a name out of nowhere. And she's like, what? And I go, new person. She says, okay, well, what do you want me to do? I said, I just want you to view it and then do nothing. She's like, well, no. And that's like half my organization system. I email myself at work too. Before I leave, 3:15, I'll send to me. And then 7:30 next morning, bing, you got an email from Hunter. And it's like, yes, I won't forget to do this.
No, that's actually a pretty... I like the method because for me... Since I'm kind of really old school, but since I don't carry them, I do it specifically with work, is I just do so many Post-it notes still. Because that's just, I know for some reason Post-it notes mean I have to look at it. And it's just funny because I'm just like, well, I don't do that at home because I wouldn't probably look where I put the Post-it notes. But at work, I have to be at my desk, so I will always look to the side and see where the Post-it note stack is.
Yeah. I used to, and I still do Post-it notes. My problem is, like, I get like a month's worth of Post-it. It's like the Post-it wall, and I'll deal with it and I won't take it away, and then I'll just have the slew of Post-it notes, and people come into my room at the school and they're like, how do you deal with this? And I said, it's just whatever on the top. And then finally that's when I go, this is actually kind of bad, it looks like feathers. And I'm like,
well, so that's the issue. I think the reason why I now realize it works well for me is I dislike clutter. So I know that my Post-it notes cluttered up, so I look forward to getting rid of the Post-it notes.
Do not go in my office.
So it helps to take it out. Well, it's fine when it's like someone else's, I don't care. But if it's my space and I have to work in it, I'm like, you can keep yours however. But if it's my space, you got to keep it like the way I am. So, I mean, I can be messy in other areas, but that's the kind of thing. I was going to do a quick side note. Do you remember, I've been talking to a couple guys, and you talked about your son and being like the football player, kind of like that mentality. I was thinking that, do you remember the commercials, I think, with it was Terry Tate? And they used to do, and it was like office, like the workplace, how to improve the workplace. And they brought him in, and he was, I think, a football player. I don't know very much, but he, like someone like wouldn't do some of the small thing, like not refilling the coffee mug, and then you just see him get tackled by this guy. And he says, yes. What is it? If you, what does it say? Like,
I can visualize what you're saying.
Like refill the Joe or something like that. And he just had like catchphrases. And I just remember someone reminded me of these commercials, and I just remember thinking, man, I miss the old school commercials. I feel like really good old commercials.
They need to bring stuff. I think we're seeing a return to that. Like, I don't want to say aggressive because I don't think it's actually. I think it's more funny than aggressive. But the hey dummy advertisement. Do you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, can you figure it out? I think we'll get into some
boob stuff after this.
Well, that is related to that. Yeah, you also, there was something else that what do you do for work? I just, like you said, at work, and I just am sitting here going, I don't know what he does for work. What do you do for work?
It's always strange to kind of explain it because essentially
I probably asked you this before.
You have, I think, once, but I work at it's an outdoors company.
Okay.
But we distribute, so basically, you would think it's like a store or some kind of warehouse somewhere, but really, because we're so small, it's out of someone's house, and they have a pretty big house and a detached garage that we use as our warehouse. So we essentially have backpacking stoves and other gear related to it.
Would I know? Would I have heard of this company?
Very unlikely because they're based out of Japan.
Oh,
so they're bigger in Japan, and they do other things besides stoves and like torch accessories. But basically, my boss, who's from Japan, he kind of runs it here, and we have a couple other small areas in a few other countries. So it's always strange to try and explain to people because I'm like, you probably wouldn't have seen us maybe if you ever go to an REI. For those that know what that is, if you're in Oregon, you may, especially if you're outdoors. But we have like a couple products there, but they're not like front shelf stuff. So it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, you probably never heard of us if you're here, but it's basically like working really at a small company because I technically was hired on initially to do shipping, but I wear different hats every day.
Yep.
So I kind of do some
other duties as assigned.
Yeah. So I kind of like that. It doesn't get boring, but at the same time, it's a very different. It's true. It's true, but it's also interesting because it's a very small knit group, so it's almost like you're working. Within a family. So pros and cons is you have some great times together. Most of the time, my boss makes and likes to make lunch, so I don't have to bring lunch, and he's a pretty good cook. But the hard thing is whenever it's actually part of the reason today I was thinking specifically was having a little bit of frazzleness too, is trying to communicate with him and doing something outside of work, because then there's this balance to it being like personal versus professional for me too, and it can get a little hard sometimes to separate the two when I think it can be more beneficial.
That's how did you get into that? Like, how did you know them?
Funny enough, at our last church community we were a part of, I was in between jobs, and my wife was serving in the kids ministry, and one of the guys just met me for the first time, and he asked me, and I was very honest. I'm like, well, right now I'm in between jobs, so if you got one, I'm like, I'd be interested. Like, I take a look at it, and he was just like, oh, funny enough, I have this perfect situation for you, because he was actually he helped do a tech stuff for him. He's a contractor separately, but so I met them, and since then I was there for a couple years, went away, and then I came back after a year. So it's got great flexibility, which is a big reason I like it, especially with now having the 3 kids and helping my wife with that burden. So it's also a bit strange because I don't work I'm technically on salary, which I said I would never do because I only see people work a lot of hours. But it's very beneficial in this situation because I never work 40 hours. I work typically 3, at most 4 days a week, typically in the summer. And because we're very seasonal in many ways, and then I get to just go home. Like I said, lunch is included most days, so it's a very
that's awesome.
Nice setup right now. If we ever get busier and busier, then I'll get to be there. I think more of a standard job, but right now we're still kind of building to that place. So.
That's awesome. Wow, that's super cool.
I'll have to get you one of our accessories one of these days. Most people like our little torches. You're probably not a cigar smoker, but a lot of cigar places we've noticed
really?
have actually ordered from us because it's like a little torch that has a strong flame to it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Or
no,
pipe,
that
Yeah.
I'll burn something down on accident with it.
Or that you'll probably just take it to youth group and do some kind of burning.
Our youth group is so weird because we went from we've been middle and high school ever since I've started, just because we don't have a big chunk of one or the other.
Okay.
And when I started, we had all high school. It was packed out. We had sophomore, junior, senior, almost no freshmen. And then we graduated in 3 years, I want to say almost 20 kids. Graduated out, moved into the young adults and just moved on. And then there was this weird year where we had one kid in 8th grade. And he's like, what's up, guys? And we took him. We're like, nope, we're doing youth, even if you're our youth. And then in the last 2 or 3 years, we've seen this big influx, kids that he's invited, kids that come to church. And now the oldest kids in the group are freshmen. And it's all 6th, 7th, 8th graders.
So you're hitting a youthful phase right now?
Yeah.
More so
At all? Yeah. Which is encouraging because, seeing that batch move up, and then as well as some of my 5th grade Awana kids starting to transition up, it's okay, in the next couple of years, we could be bursting at the seams here, but it's a good problem to have.
I think so. That was actually I served in youth at our last church community as well a couple years ago, and we hit that phase where it was we have one or two junior seniors, and everybody else is 6th through 8th grade, and there was 20 of them. I was like, this is gonna be great in 3 or 4 years in terms of all the kids that are just at that level. And then we ended up switching over now to East Side, but it's interesting because
Yeah.
like they're all grown up now. So
Yeah.
like I've hardly seen them, but once in a while I'll see one. I'm just
Right.
like, dude, you're like,
What are you doing?
What the heck?
Yeah.
Like this small.
Yeah.
Voice was
Oh,
different.
it's so weird. Like Anna and I, we served at this church in Salem for, I think, if not as long, almost as long as we've been at Eastside now. And we did primarily, I did Awana, and I had the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, and then Anna did the 6th, 7th, 8th grade middle school group. And then we helped out with youth group too, but those two were like, and now like that group of kids is in college and like graduating. And I ran into one at Chick-fil-A in Salem, and she goes, "Are you Hunter?" And I'm going, "I'm not in the town I live. So there's 3 contexts under which this person would know who I am. And I don't know who you are." So I was like, "Yes." She goes, "It's me." And I went, "Oh my gosh." I said, "I'm sure you have everybody tell you this, but you have grown up in like, when I knew her, she was always like the shortest kid, you know, and then she like hit a growth spurt and was like, you know, normal height. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm going to George Fox." I was like, "This is wild." I was like, "Congrats. This is so exciting." And then I told Anna, and cause she worked with her more, and I was like, it was a trip. And then once she said it, I was like, she looks exactly like her mom. Like, I don't know how I didn't put it together, but as soon as she said her name, I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
It sounds like it went better because I feel like it can
Yeah.
become. I've had, I think, a similar experience, but then sometimes I have the feeling like someone feels very hurt if you don't remember them. Like, you looked very different like 2-3 years ago, if not more than that. I'm like, so I'm sorry if I don't remember you very well, but I will once, like, I know sometimes, like, once that we kind of get going, but I feel like that.
Yeah.
That's the other end, I think, sometimes that I've encountered for Steve, just being like, "Oh, hey, yeah."
Yeah. I didn't say you look exactly like your mom to her, because I don't know. You never know how people take stuff, but yeah.
I don't think you. Well, that's different. You're their kid. I said you look like your mom. I don't know. A lot of context to that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you never know nowadays if people are trying that or not. But so I have a bunch of questions that I ask everybody.
All right.
And the other thing I'd say is if you have like a bathroom story, and it can come up as we go through the questions. Sometimes people are like, "Oh, actually, yeah, I have one based like that reminds me of this." Feel free to stop me anytime. Say, "Hey, I actually have something to talk about there."
Okay.
And you know, if you want to throw Michael Wall, former guest on the show, under the bus, that's fine. Michael is an oversharer. I learned 1 month into knowing him, and I think it's I
think I would agree, but he didn't seem to share as much when I listened to his podcast on his own. It seemed like it was stepping into the shallow water first before he.
So part of Michael's reservation on that episode was I caught him like as he got off work from the school, and I trapped him in a school bathroom.
Oh, okay.
We were like at work.
That's
not on the job, but at where we work, and you could tell like he keeps like checking the door. I was like, nobody's coming in, Michael. It's summer. You're the only person with a key to this room. Well, and I'm like, it's fine. I already talked to one of the principals. He's not there anymore, so it doesn't really matter. He doesn't care. Like 3 out of the 4 principals that I have right now know that I do this, and I like recorded there in November. I didn't get permission for that. Forgiveness.
Sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh well, you know. And it was during the school year, so here we are. So yeah, I've got a bunch of questions that I ask everybody. So, and if like I said, a lot of times if you share something, it's like, my wife would be mad if I said that. Actually, we're gonna back it out and. Yeah, no worries.
I don't know. That's one of those where I probably, you're right. I wouldn't think about it, but it's one of those where, like, if my wife listens to it, it'd be interesting to hear. Yeah. I mean, either way, she knows who she's married to at this point, right?
And she knew that you were coming to do this too.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I had one guy, I was like, "Does your wife know where you're at right now?" He goes, No, yeah. She thinks I went, like, to hang out. I was like, "Well, we're hanging out." He goes, "Yeah, but I didn't share the part where, like, we're recording about this." I was like, all right, it's fine.
Well, I do realize the answer. Like, part of the reason why I was wondering to have my wife with me here first is some of those bathroom stories include her. So I feel like that's one of the things I'm like, oh, okay, I'll have to hold off on sharing about them because she needs to be here to at least say her part to them. Because otherwise, I feel like it's one of those that, aside from the idea that I don't know how she would take it, I think more so I want to see how she'll react and or talk about them in this context.
Yeah, we'll do a follow up sometime in the future and get her on, and she can give her defense. And
because I'm really interested to know. Like, I heard it, but I imagine Kimberly, Michael's wife, seemed to be much more open and expressive about things, and I imagine he was shaking his head half the time or trying to refute or kind of interject on some of the things that they were here together.
You know what I found? I've had admittedly many more men on the show than women. Part of that is the nature of, like, we're in a bathroom. But the ladies that have said, yeah, I'll go on the show, they're way more like, and I think part of it is women just deal with more in the bathroom than guys do. Just certifiably. True, I can just, from being married, from being a janitor, that's just facts. And I think they're like, whoa, the stuff that for a guy is like, I'm not going to talk about that. Like, nah, those don't exist. We're not. Women are like, I'm
surprised sometimes. I mean, nowadays, I guess maybe it could be changing more, but I feel like in my mind, right, the thought is guys are more going to be more open about all the stuff they do, especially when it's guy on guy talking, versus women who are, unless they're looking for the opportunity to just unload it.
I think if women can get past the barrier of, I'm being recorded about what goes on in the bathroom, it's really open season. Like, I have learned a lot. It's, there's only been a handful, but those were like, huh? Like, wait, Anna's been on like 4 times. She goes on every Valentine's Day. And every time I'm like, wait. What? And then it's like, yeah, dummy. It's like, what do you think? And it's like, oh. And every time, like this last time, I haven't had to scrub poop. Oh, here's a question for you.
Okay. That's good.
We're going to phrase it in a question and I'll explain. So one of your kids has a blowout. Okay. Diaper blowout. And you got a little poopy in the clothing, whether it's the pants or the onesie or whatever. What are you doing to deal with that?
Are you talking about if we keep it on?
No. But like, what do you do to clean that? Or are you tossing it? You're just like, nah, we're done. This is.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We haven't taken our kids to enough, at least public spaces, I think, where that's, at least I can recall, happened to me. And then being like, what do we do?
How fortunate.
It's so far only happened at home or at someone else's home. And then we treat it like a ticking time bomb. We just like lift them up and it's just like help. make sure like almost like red carpet it. Make sure nothing drips on anything and like try and carry him to the bathroom and then deal with it there. It happened once during I think it might have been the Super Bowl, not this one, but the last year with our son. And we were wondering, like, I remember thinking once, like, I thought it was a stain from food because there was, and then I realized after like a couple minutes, it's on his hand and he had already touched a piece of furniture. It was not our place. Unfortunately, though, it's his babysitter, so it wasn't like that awkward, but we like bull rushed him to the bathroom and had to deal with all of it there. But that's kind of, I think, like, I haven't thought about what's going to happen if we do that if we're at the store. And because we rarely go to the store with like all of our kids at most. Yeah. Even now, typically one of us watches the kids and one of us goes because we're not wanting to take that on.
Oh, yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. Well, I remember, there was times where we would just, one of the kids would have a blowout and Anna's like, swing around. I'm running into Target. We're buying a fresh pair of pants. Like, we're just, we don't have time to go back home. We got to get it done. Like, or on a road trip, it's, Walmarts are wonderful because, you can get kids' clothes for like $3 and it's like, yep. These are gone. New pants. Here you go, bud.
When our kid is out of diapers, because he could, we haven't pushed him enough yet, but I know Jethro, oldest, would totally be, I think, able to take that on. Like, I'll be interested because actually that I haven't thought about. Like, what happens when there's incidents? Typically, my wife is prepared enough to be like, we have all these things that we can do, change clothes. I always forget. Yeah. One day it'll be me that's like, I did not bring anything. And now I have to figure out if I'm just going to wrap you up in a towel probably and just like throw your stuff away.
You get it done. Well, so I asked that question because for, 2 kids, they're both, praise God, out of diapers. Those are the dark ages for me. When they would have this mess happen, I was scrubbing it out in the sink, which apparently makes me a barbarian because you're supposed to scrub it out in the toilet.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Nobody gave me that information ever.
Are you talking about with like cloth diapers too?
No, like
or just like because why would you have to? What would you? Oh, off the clothes?
Yeah, like if it's got like a poopy on it, you just get it out. And I'm like, yeah, hot water, run it down the sink, out of sight, out of mind. And Anna's like, no, in the toilet where the poop goes. And I'm like, well, it's gone now. She goes, it's probably stuck in the bend. And I'm like, no, it's mostly liquid. It's fine. No idea. Again, 2 kids. I found this out 2 months ago. That was a thing that I was supposed to have done. And I'm like, well, I can assure you I didn't.
I'll confess. At first, especially because the first time I listened to your podcast, like when I first met you, I think I went straight to it and listened a bit. I was a bit like, what the heck is this guy talking about waffle stomps, which I'd never even heard of, which I know for anybody who's listened before, like they already know what that is. But, I think to myself now, I'm like, that seems at first strange because my wife just carries a few plastic bags. Yeah. So we'll just, like, if it's even got poop, we're just going to throw it in there and deal with it when we get home. Yeah. But I remember when I was a kid in emergencies, I think most of the time, like, I remember just, taking a whiz in the sink if our toilet, like if someone was in there locked taking a bath, and I was just like, what else do I got? And I'm like, and I don't want to go outside because we lived like more of an open space. So I'm like, oh, someone just drives by. So I remember like doing that. I'm like, it's not much different than that when you think about just cleaning out kids' diapers. Did you stand
on the
I like put my knees on the counter and just try to balance myself and hope that I didn't biff it. Would be the, I think I did the kitchen specifically. I think it was the kitchen thing too.
No way.
Yeah, I think if I'm it's been a while. So
what are the odds your mom hears this?
Very little, and even if she did, she might know actually enough of what we're talking about to have an idea. Otherwise, I feel like it would still go over her head.
Okay, I was gonna say
she mostly speaks Spanish still, but she understands English.
Hey, I can do a lot with AI translation, and no, just kidding.
It's true. Fortunately, she doesn't really know. She doesn't know what podcasts are. I'm pretty sure.
That sentence. They don't really know what podcasts are. I have spent the bulk of the last 5 to 6 years of my life explaining that to people primarily over the age of 40 to 50. Those over 40 to 50 out there that I've explained that to that are listening now, I love y'all. You're welcome. And I'm glad you're here.
It's a majority of our church community. So
another reason why this podcast is flown primarily under the radar. Every now and then I'll get a youth parent that's like, so you do a podcast? I was like, well, technically I do more than one, but I assume you're talking about the one about the bathroom. They're like, yeah. And I'm like, I do a Bible one. Did you happen to look into that? Oh, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you're just looking for the trouble, not for the, And I'm like, well, did you learn anything? Oh, yeah, but I'm just don't understand why. And I'm like, because you learned something. Like, I don't know. It's interesting. I
think it's great.
I have undiagnosed ADHD, and I've probably got a similar problem to Michael.
Just a little different. Comes out different.
Yeah, it's, we're undiagnosed, but we're pretty sure. And it's like, this has been dude, I have a notes app thing where I just like take notes. And I'll do a topic and I'll like, okay, take it off. And then while I'm doing the topic, I learned 3 things. I was like, oh, put it in. And the list is probably 40, 50 things long, which is like over a year's worth of and that's if I don't discover anything. Or if people don't do anything stupid in the news, which people are getting Delta flights canceled left and right because they like diarrhea the bathroom too bad and it has to turn around. That's like a thing that happens.
I did not know that.
It's a phenomenon, recent phenomenon. I was like, this is crazy. But, yeah, so you knew about the cleaning the kids' pants. First, right out of the gate, what type of toilet paper do you use at your house? Now, I will confess, if you look, don't just...
I am looking right now.
Please don't look at my roll. This is an embarrassing byproduct of our previous episode wherein I ranked 11 toilet papers and I have to use them. And so this is the bottom, number 11, like worst toilet paper. And I was like, we're sticking it on the roll because we got to get through it. Like, dude, dog, look at how...
You should just give that to Michael. It's basically what he has in it.
This is what the church used to have.
Oh, I was going to say, you should trade it. I'm sure the church has a slightly better quality.
You can see through it.
Yeah. That's like
the joke.
Thinnest ply. My question is, where'd you get that one from?
I bought it at Walmart. It's Scott 1000 to totally drag Scott brand. Y'all's toilet paper is trash, which is where a majority of it ended up during my ranking. But what type of toilet paper do y'all use?
Well, I mentioned to know where this ranked in yours. I'm sure you had it. We have Charmin, I believe it's the Ultra Soft.
Okay.
Is the one
that
we
the blue
use.
bag?
I think it's the blue one.
Okay.
And if it's not there, we'll do the red, which is I think the strong. But I also realized a couple years ago, when did they start doing it's not like straight square tiles, it's got the wavy.
Oh, it's about a year and a half ago.
Yeah. So I don't know if that does much to it, but I feel like it's something that I realize now I'm going to start to get used to.
I can tell you it does. Charmin was number one. It is.
Which did you do like
blue bag Charmin?
The blue bag, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it is the best. That tear is it's perfect. Like, and I mean, like this, you don't want that. This is nonsense. You don't want the little tails. It drives me nuts. The Charmin, it just like pops away. So yeah, it was the best. Like, and the thing is I learned a lot about myself is that like I have Kirkland, like Costco brand.
Yep.
And I was like, at first I was like, oh, come on, Kirkland. And it's like, it was like number 4 or 5. And I'm like, it's okay. You can wipe with 4th place. It's fine. Like I refuse to change. My parents buy Charmin, and it's nice because it's a treat. You go over and it's like, oh yeah, this is premium. Like this is good paper.
Just wait for the sales because then it's the same price as Kirkland.
If you find Michael going to your house to go to the bathroom more often, I think you need to call him out on that because I know what he buys and it is not Charmin.
No, and I remember once I think he did use our bathroom, which I've never seen it left any strange way after he leaves. So I think he does it all normal. But I remember he did talk about how nice our toilet paper was, and that's where I remember after using his bathroom once I was like, yeah, I'm like next to like buying a good bed where you're gonna spend hours of your life, right? And that makes a big difference. I'm like I have like when I come out of a public bathroom, which I rarely use, but like or people's that have like single ply, I'm like that messes me up for like at least the next hour. So I'm like, why wouldn't I do something that's gonna make my life a lot better, right? If it's gonna affect my life that often.
If before you leave you need to use it, my kid's bathroom does not have this because I do not trust my kids to operate on such a thin ply.
Oh yeah, that's asking for trouble, isn't it?
Just
especially if they're gonna touch your face right after. Probably.
Oh yeah. Did you wash your hands? Yeah. Weird. I heard the flush. And then immediately you run down the hallway. Like, did you your hands under the water on your way by? So now, and this is the danger move. I have especially my son. He's the culprit. We buy like kind of foo-foo smelly soaps.
Oh yeah,
because you can tell they wash their hands. And then it's like, do you wash hands? Yeah, smart. Let me smell it. And there's times where it's like, I'm rolling the dice because if he didn't, I'm getting ready to smell poo finger.
That is a very great idea, technique, whatever thing to do. I gotta embrace. I remember the time we had dinner with you guys. Yeah, I remember you had someone else like, oh, that's different. You told me kind of.
Yep, smelly soap. It you can usually smell like, all right, yeah, I think he did it. Do y'all fold your toilet paper over or under?
Oh, over, which drives me crazy because I realized when I go visit my mom how it's always under. And I remember being a kid, and that was always the way. That was always the case. And I just remember being like, why? Why would you ever? I guess maybe someone has explained it better, but I keep thinking like over. You just it's easy. You cut it. It doesn't do some weird stuff to me. But under feels like it's just so much more work.
And the snap on this is, I mean, I got that, but yeah, my wife is an over. She has to. It has to go. I'm really agnostic on the point. I'm convinced that as long as it gets on the roll, it is a success. Like, but do you have a reason like that it just looks better? Is that kind of it? Or
for mine, I think over time, I don't know when I finally got out of the house and got my own apartment and stuff like that I start noticing that I just for convenience, it just seemed like you just start noticing. Yeah. Right? I feel like it's funny once you start, at least for me, once you start getting older, things you just start noticing. It's like, this is a lot more inconvenient, or just I want to like, this is the way. So yeah, we've just done that. I think my wife, and I can't remember if my wife ever did that, but I'm sure we probably had a mini argument or something about it early on in our marriage if she ever did it the other way, and I was like, why?
Yeah. You know what I find? I find that over people are more passionate and like convinced that
makes a lot more sense.
Most people that are under, they're just like, okay, sure. I mean, I can swap.
They're the single pliers.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing is, I normally refuse. We actually had a conversation about throwing this out, just like the whole 4-pack.
You can at least use it for like nose. I mean, not great.
I tested that and it was awful. Like that was part of what I put it through. I put it through some untraditional paces.
How about the one thing I imagine, I haven't done this before. I'm sure single play is amazing for TP in someone's house, though.
Test it in my hallway. Just how it throws in the arc. It actually didn't throw bad. But the other thing is, The roll is heavier because it's got so many like iterations around one. Their whole thing is like, yeah, we've got 1,000 squares on a roll. It's like, yeah, but one of these squares is like a fifth of Charmin's square. Their math is ridiculous. Charmin was not the softest. Quilted Northern.
Really?
I was baffled.
I gotta try this.
It was so soft that it began to be like, this is questionable about like how good of a job I'm gonna be able to do.
Is it almost feeling like you're using a towel without whatever traction I feel like a towel might give you? Because I feel like what's just so soft that it just doesn't feel like it's doing what it should.
It's one of those. Oh, that's trash for sure.
It's true. You do need a balance though.
Oh, not that one.
I'll have to find it myself.
Yeah. I'll let you feel my toilet paper before you go.
Let's.
Hey, you want to come over and feel my toilet paper?
It's a good thing we're in the bathroom already. Otherwise, it's be very strange.
Yeah, you're probably looking at this as like, good night. What goes on in here? How many rolls do you need? This is not normally like this. It's
not that bad actually.
Storing it after.
Well, it's like I remember.
No. It behind the door in this closet. There's boxes and bags. Yeah.
It kind of is funny because I remember
like one of those COVID toilet paper buyers right now.
I'll do it. Oh man. Stories for a different time. I said the story I was thinking of, a short story, is I think only ever had to use the bathroom once at my neighbors with Michael and Kimberly Wall, and I remember I used their paper, and it was like, I remember it was like, well, I think it was like the single, actually it was like some kind of single ply stuff or whatever, and I remember thinking, I would think they would have better toilet paper, and their toilet paper is also in a weird spot when you get it from like the thing it stands on, and then I come back, and that's when I was told after the fact, and asking them about the toilet paper, they're like, well, if you notice, like the nicer toilet paper, I don't know why they have two different kinds, is like at a weird angle and up somewhere, and I was just like, oh, well, that would have saved me a lot of trouble. So they do have. I think that's where they keep their angels off. But for some reason, I can't remember why they had really.
They've got like the deluxe roll and the guest roll.
At least that day they did. Yeah, that's why I was like, I see how you guys treat your guests. You don't want them to come back.
Swap out the paper to no. That's funny. Do you use bar soap or liquid soap?
Both.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I feel like when I'm really wanting to feel really clean, I'll use like men's, like the very specific soap in a bottle, and give myself a bit of a certain smell. But I would say more often we use like a Dove, a white bar soap.
Yep, body bar.
Yeah. So and I'll be honest, this is my lazy side. Most of the time, I'll do a quick run over with the bar on myself because I'm like, who else is going to use this? And anyways, it's sanitary already, right? Because as far as I know, only my family uses our soap. And then
Michael's sneaking in the middle of the night,
just
borrowing your soap.
himself, but you've never. Hopefully,
but he'll hear this and do it now. Like that's who he is. He'll be like,
he's gonna at least bring it up.
I have to make it true.
But that's most of the time what I do. But I was gonna say sometimes I'll use the loofah. As well. I have loofah. My wife uses like this weird little like almost like a sock, it looks like, that you can put your hand in and you like rub it. But I was like, what are these? Yeah, I'm like, she like grew up using like actual like old school sponges too, and I was just like, no, like I'll just use.
I'm a washcloth. Yeah.
Oh, are you a washcloth?
Oh yeah.
I feel like that stays enough soap for me to like do one.
Full I'll re-soap it. Like if I get to where I'm going, I'll re-soap it. Yeah. So with the bar soap, have you ever carved a message to anybody in it, or had anybody like leave you one?
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I don't think my wife would notice anymore if I did that though. I think she just not think about it while she picks it up. That would have been great though.
I had one of the young adults. They're like, yeah, I used to carve messages to my siblings, and I don't know if they ever got them. I was like, wait a minute, your brother was on the show like 3 months ago, and I didn't ask him. And then it became a thing. I was like, do people do this? And a couple have said, yeah.
Didn't do that,
but to shave it into shapes.
Did you ever like fog up and then do on the mirror in your bathroom, throw in some?
I did. So I was an only child. Still am. And so it was like writing messages to yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wait a minute. Who's reading this? Unless mom goes to clean the glass, and then it's like jokes on me. I should do that now. Leave Anna
I think that'd be a great one, but
except for she showers in room temperature water. I feel like.
Are you guys the opposite?
I like it hot. It has to burn me.
I like really hot baths, but I cannot do
Whoa.
steaming showers. My wife never turns cold on at all.
Yeah.
I do about halfway.
Oh no,
So
no. It's
you're
almost
like her.
fully cranked, like just because ours is the spectrum.
Oh, yeah.
So you answered my next question. How do you feel about baths?
Well, I'm a big believer in like I find it
All
very
right.
healing for myself. Plus,
Okay.
a lot of times when I'm sick, I love to sweat it out or like just to get into to get it through.
Yeah.
And then I'm a little bit. I will say compared to most men I've met, I don't know the words. I would say I'm kind of feminine in certain areas, but I do realize I'm kind of a product of the way mom was very OCD cleanly.
Yeah, I don't think
And so I think
baths
that's like
are.
me.
I don't think baths are feminine. I think
I don't know how many men take them. I guess you've
think
had a
they're-
lot more that you've had on this show, probably.
I have had a few. I think it's a time thing. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Where
okay.
like, and for me, it's the human soup of it. Like I can't get past that.
You take a shower after. That's what I do if I bath. I have to.
wait,
I always have to shower after.
You shower after, huh? Because I've had
Because
people
I'm
be
the same
like,
way. I don't like the feeling of knowing that there's like a bunch of goo or gunk, especially now with kids in the bathroom. Yeah, I don't. Trust
yeah,
my
the
bathtub.
human soup is too much for me. Even hot tubs, like I don't like hot tubs.
Really?
Yeah, don't like them. I don't like public pools, dude. Like give me a lake, and I understand the logic is stupid.
It's more natural.
Like the fish poo, everything pees and poops in the lake.
Everything we've thrown in there, huh?
I would much rather like swim in a creek or like get my feet wet in a pond or like public pools are so gross to me.
Is it because it feels more contained? Even if lake's a much
it's-
bigger space too, so maybe it feels like diluted at least for you.
It just feels like, yes, I understand they have like cleaning methods. I feel like it's diminishing returns. Like, if I'm going swimming, it's like, let's try to get there when they open. When we're at peak chlorination, minimal poo matter that has, sorry, listen, if this is too much, nobody ever gets it all off. Like when they wipe, there's always some, like might be, unless you're wiping till you're bleeding, there's always some,
Oof.
which some people are like, oh yeah, no, I wipe till I see red.
Well,
It's
I'll be
like,
honest.
please.
I wipe a lot compared to, and I've had this conversation with my wife too. On just like,
Oh, no.
wait, what is it like for you? Once again, I'll save it for him. But basically, I wipe very differently. My method is very like make sure everything's done. And she's like, how do you need that much? And I think of I don't know if you ever watched Parks and Rec.
Oh yeah, the marker.
I don't know if you ever saw any outtakes from Andy Dwyer, the actor who plays him, and one of his jokes is he's in front of a doctor and he's just like pretending to keep coming up with random issues. He's like, is there an issue with me? Because like I'll just keep wiping, and when I think there should be more, I just keep wiping and wiping and wiping. And it's
They're
just
trying
like,
not to die laughing.
yeah. And I was just thinking that's exactly how it's like for me. I feel like I'm like, I don't know why that's the case, but my wife's like, I feel like she's in and out of the bathroom quick. I'm the one that takes longer, and I think that's a part of the issue. And she's like, well, what do you need? I'm just like, are you like telling me your body is just like that clean through, like even everything? Because for me, I'm like, maybe it's just I need to change my diet or something within my body's kind of.
I think everybody's just different. Yeah, I mean, there's probably the scary answer that is anytime like it's like, why is it always this soft? Because I've had people say like, it shouldn't be. You should have like log, and I'm going, nah, I don't. And Michael is actually the one. He goes, you need to go get checked out. You're probably sick. And I was like, no, I'm not, Michael. He goes, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. I was like, what do you know? What do you know, Michael? He goes, it shouldn't be that way. I was like, it just has always.
I'm sure he's seen a lot of different kinds of poops because I'm sure a lot of kids haven't flushed when he's had to go clean some bathrooms.
Yeah. Well, the benefit of having a radio at the high school is I will hear the janitor call when it goes out. It's like, hey, we got a clogged toilet in building 2. And this, just before spring break, that call went out. And I looked at one of the aides and I was like, can you hold the room for like 2 minutes? She's like, yeah. Boom, sprint out of the bathroom. I run over there and get a picture of it before it's all like dealt with. And as I'm coming out, the custodian's coming in. And I'm like, she thinks I did this, but whoops. Oh, well, I got the picture. I got photo evidence. And that one was a disturbing sight because it was a boy's bathroom.
Oh, that's
and there was, I don't know where the blood came from, but there was blood. I was like, oh, gosh, this can't be.
I rarely, like I said, I rarely use public bathrooms. This includes when I was in high school, and I just kept thinking, yeah, imagine what you come across if you use it all the time. That's part of my thing.
So you not a public bathroom guy?
Well, so yeah, I'm not big on public bathroom for, at least for going poo. Because ever since I've been a kid that I can remember, I've had this like issue feeling comfortable and feeling, it's a weird way to kind of use the word safe, I guess, but at least maybe like trust what's around me and like be able to go and just sit there and do that. It's kind of like my bath process. When I do things, I like to like just be able to relax. And I've learned as I've gotten older, if I know you a long period of time, which you have to be in that very specific circle, we're talking about like my wife and my sister were like the only people over the course of my time that if they were at home and in their room, I could go to the bathroom like that. But I'd always wait till nighttime or till the house is empty, which means I've only ever had to do it in the public bathroom because it's so bad once or twice, to the point that I'll hit that line of being like, I'm about to crap myself. That's basically means that it's just a easy let it go if I get to the public bathroom. And sometimes even then my body will resist. Like,
so even growing up, you like hold it all day.
Yeah, my records are pretty long, and most of the time even now, like I would say I go and do it like more daily, but especially when we had a house full of people, I probably go to the bathroom every 2 to 3 days, like for poop. But I mean, peeing wasn't
and I know like doctors from reading all this, they say like unless you're going 3 to 5 days without, you don't really have anything to worry about.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
But truly, if I go more than 6 to 10 hours without, I get concerned. Like I start tracing back in my brain, like, what did I eat? Like, dude, I went to the bathroom 15 minutes before you showed up.
Ah, okay.
And that was my third round for the day.
That's amazing to me. See, my wife is the same, where she's like, I think she's more regular. I think that's what regular is. I guess I never really thought about her or asked that question until.
Well, you can be too regular.
That's true. But I was thinking for me, I was just like, I don't know, man. Like once a day is good enough, if not 2 or 3. And I remember the first time my friend, similar to you, he's a bigger guy. He's like, dude, are you kidding me? Like I go like 2 to 4 times a day, and I was just like, oh, well, that sounds excessive to me. But is that normal?
Oh yeah, 4 to 6 a day.
Really?
For sure. Yeah, like I said, I've gone 3 so far today.
Well, I see it as maybe an investment then. Like I'll take all my time in the bathroom once every couple of days because I'll be there for a while when I do it.
Yeah,
and
that's
you
true.
Just dice it over.
Yeah, because it's like a 3 to 5 minute situation too. Like it's in, done, get out, but not everybody's the same. Like there's that. Okay. I don't think you have anything. I think regular is.
We'll
subjective.
see. I mean, I'll see if I have cancer or something as I get older from older times, or if I just have incontinence by the time I get to like 40.
Yeah, I know that one day in my future there's the colonoscopy episode, and I know
first time you go,
and I know what I have to do. I just don't know if I have the courage to do it because I recorded the vasectomy, sort of. Doctor, whatever you are, if you're listening, it was all fabricated. You weren't actually recorded. But that one's like, don't know if I'm ready to take that. I'm like, yeah, I've got a colonoscopy in a box in the closet that
if hopefully anything, this year. You should at least have like your wife be there and do a play-by-play on the side so that you can incorporate that with something later.
They don't let anybody back for the vasectomy anymore.
Oh yeah, you said for that one, but
solo
for colonoscopy, I think they may.
Mm.
If not,
I need you to
ask
hold
them to
my
bring
hand.
in a nurse and ask the nurse to do a play-by-play.
When I went in pre-screening for the snip, my doctor goes, "Do you have any questions?" And I said, and he had a nurse like in training, like she was observing him, and she's a student. There's this like 23, 24-year-old girl, and I'm going, well, I don't go to the doctor unless I'm dying or I have scheduled stuff and I have questions I have to ask you for personal reasons. So here we go. And I start the vasectomy conversation. He's like, I'll get you in with the urologist. And I was like, okay, follow-up question. Can I record it? And this girl's face, I mean, she just turned into like, who is this monster?
I imagine most people would be very weirded out by.
And he's like,
that without context.
I can't speak for the urologist. You have to ask him. I was like, okay. He's like, do you have any other questions? I was like, yeah, actually I do. If I pee on a pregnancy test and it comes out positive, does that mean I have a hernia? And you can tell that this doctor is like, I hate the internet. Like, you can tell he's just triggered that the internet. And the girl, she just does this, like, hand in face. And I'm going, and he's like, well, did you pee on a pregnancy test? And now I'm like, well, yes. He goes, was it positive? I was like, no. He goes, okay, that's good. Because if men pee on pregnancy tests and it's positive, we do surgery. And I was like, for what? And he goes, yeah, testicular cancer is like, it's like a 50% likelihood.
Like, can we be less invasive and first check with the company about who makes these pregnancy tests?
Yeah. But apparently, men, if you, that's a thing. That's
an interesting thing to know.
Yeah, I did not know that, but yeah, this student is just like, I don't know if I want to be in the medical field anymore.
Sign up that day.
She did not sign up for me. Do you have any bathroom pet peeves? Things that other than using it in public? Or in public spaces. Using it in public makes it seem like you're, like squatting on the side of the road.
Yeah, it's true. Which also is funny because I never realized public bathrooms. It took me years before I realized what the
holdup was.
No. Actually, what liners were. Like, I didn't realize that's what they were.
Those
this is
fake.
Also being a first generation.
Those are fake.
Like a first generation person is just being like, I don't know what's conventional because my parents didn't really tell me because they don't have that. I think where they grew up mostly. So
I don't even know how to use them.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you're just supposed to take them out and they're supposed to be shaped like it. I mean, I haven't used one.
I put them on backwards all the time. Like, that's what people tell me. They're
just
like...
use like the entire roll of single ply to line your toilet seat. That's what I
Yeah. My thing is, like, if the seat is so bad, I just take a big fistful of toilet paper and just wipe the whole thing down. Boom, flush. And then it's like, we're doing a full reset before I jump in here. Yeah, the liners are... That's interesting. But yeah, do you have any pet peeves?
Not really. I think the only one that I've had
is when you... pet peeves.
What is that?
At-home pet peeves.
At home. Is it? They're all going to be at home because that's my main experience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was going to think was... now, I think if I have a guest and I realize we never have to use like candles, but I remember growing up, like, I don't feel like mine are that bad and I don't go that often or when people are going to use a rafter. People that do, like, if you don't have the conventional wisdom to at least ask, like, if you're just bad. I guess we're so laid back that I expect people to be okay being like, do you have a candle or something that we can use or just joke about it? Or two, the other one is if someone goes to the bathroom, and this has happened, once again, I'll have to wait for my wife to be here because she might say otherwise, and there's still like a drop on the seat somewhere, and I'm just like, I did not use the bathroom last. And I'm like, and there is still like, it was not fully cleaned, or I don't know if you noticed that there's a little bit of something. I don't know what it's like to be a woman, but I will say, like, I still expect, I think, the same level of cleanliness.
So
when I leave something.
You are correct, and
this sounds like experience.
Oh gosh, well, experience here, and so I was a janitor for 10 years too.
Okay,
and so the debate of like toilet seat up, toilet seat down. I think for me it's a moot point. It's just like, guys, just put the toilet seat down. Like, it's fine. I understand the logic. Like, well, it's just as easy to lift it. And most women's argument is, yeah, but the seat's gross, and then I have to touch it. And I'm like, valid. But if I spray and hit the edge or like get a little bit on the back, because things happen, things get a little out of hand sometimes. It shouldn't. I feel like age 14 is like, if you don't have it square by now, it's time to keep all the way to the ankle every time. Like, that's, and you're going to be the butt cheek guy when you go in the bathroom. It's like, oh, okay, you didn't learn this yet. Perfect. Moving on.
Are you talking about the butt cheek guy? The guy that...
Yeah, he's got to drop it all the way down.
Drop it all. I remember when kids would do that when I was a kid. I was like, who taught? What is this? Like, I just never... Yeah. My kid's going to be one of those kids, I bet you.
No. Not with you. Not with you being so, like, bathroom conscious. Like, no, I never really, like, sat Silas down and said, like, here, son, this is how you do it. He just is like... I think public school helps this a little bit too, but he's like, he does it exactly like I've seen every guy do it when they go to, like, it's, yes. How did you figure it out? I don't know. It's just what feels right. It's like, yep. The people I have seen, grown adults, like 20, 30, 40-year-old, all the way to the ankle. And it is, I swear, Albany Costco. I went in to use the bathroom and there was a guy older than me, total butt, just all the way down, and I'm like, you gotta now bend over to get it. And where's your face going when you bend over?
You're also way too comfortable, man. How do you become that comfortable, or just not?
This guy obviously didn't like live in a dorm, because 100% chance if that guy lived in a dorm, somebody's getting toilet paper with peanut butter and just slapping your butt so it get like that's coming. Yeah, or you're gonna get a hot dog in your pants, just like it's like ooh, yeah. Dude, Bible school's wild.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
What establishment? But yes, dude, the seat. Like, if the argument is, "Well, it's gross, I don't want to touch it," the women make sometimes a bigger mess than the guys. It is facts. Ask any janitor, they're like, "Yeah, women's room is bad. I don't know what's going on in there." And I've asked, and I don't think this is what's happening in every case, but there are some women that are afraid to touch the seat. Fair point. Their option then is to hover. They cast a spell on themselves to where they can like straddle and hover, not touch, and go. And I'm like, oh, okay, this explains every women's room toilet that's completely destroyed that I've had to clean. Don't.
Yeah, but I guess
ladies don't hover.
Just surprised.
It's fine.
Are people, Mike? I'm being sure to talk to more people. Be like, are you just don't really notice or care to clean? It's your own stuff, right? Afterwards, if it's on the seat, or are you like sickened by it that you don't really want to touch or just, basically you're just like, well,
but then you're selling it down the river, and it's like, well, no, you got to do it.
It's that's. I guess mom was like I said, very OCD, so I got very taught. Like I've been surprised, even especially amongst other men, how much I'm just like, dude, don't you like clean up a little bit after yourself, or like a little bit of like extra sanitation? So
when Silas was doing this, because little boys make a terrible, terrible mess. It's part of being a little boy. And I told him, I said, son, this will happen. This will happen for, even as an adult, you will have a moment where you're just like, you didn't get your pants just right and it's hanging a little right. And I said, this is going to happen the rest of your life. Your goal from now until the day you die, or the day that someone's taking care of you or whatever, is to never have anybody interact with this. Like, nobody else gets to interact with your pee. It's only you. So if you miss, it's annoying, and it's no big deal as long as you wipe it all up. When I come in, or when your mom comes in, or your sister comes in, there should be no evidence that you missed, ever. As far as I'm concerned, you never miss. Okay. Yeah, right. What eating establishment does you the dirtiest? Does anything foul you up when you eat it? Set you back a day on the bathrooming?
That's a good question. I guess I haven't thought as much after I've gone somewhere or had maybe I've had an experience or two, I think, whenever I've just had a burger here and there, I think is the most, but I can't think of anything specific where it's really, really messed me up. To be honest, the only time is if I get some spicy somewhere. I know that's gonna hit later. I used to happen a lot more when I was younger because mom would always throw some spiciness in there. But now that I'm married to someone who doesn't really make any spicy food and I don't really make spicy food, I'm like, it's kind of, I think, a lot easier for me. It's rare that I have to go and I'm just like, oh man, this is the first time in like a couple months I ate some Flamin' Hot like Cheetos, like double Flamin' Hot. I was like, that's the furthest it gets on like something hit me. But
that's too much.
How about yours? Have you actually had an experience on one of the places here in town or something?
Oh, Applebee's, Panda Express. I mean, I can make a list.
Two places I don't go to, so that makes more sense.
Applebee's. If I get chicken wings at Applebee's, it's a graft, dude. It's
really.
If I eat chicken wings at 9 p.m., 2 a.m. with 100% accuracy, I'm up at 2 a.m. with a stomach ache, and it takes an hour to get to the bathroom and get it done. And I've got Applebee's, like, we'll go out with the young adults after young adults sometimes, and they're like, oh, let's go to Applebee's. And half of them have kind of been on the show at some point, and half of them have listened, and they're like, you could get the wings? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, you know what it does, right? I was like, yep. It's the best deal here. What am I going to do? Order a full price meal? Not likely. Every time.
It's good to know.
Every time. Applebee's wings, they're delicious, but they foul me up. I don't even get anything spicy. I get honey barbecue. Like a white dad.
What does that say about their wings, man? I'm not sure. I was going to say, I haven't had that happen at another. I don't get wings so often, but the place I've found, it's not that bad.
I love wings, dude. If you're going to get wings in Albany, go to Wingstop.
I've heard that is a great... Wait, is that the new place? The one. Yeah. Wingstop? That's the one that my friend said.
You can get 20 wings and a large fry for like $16.
It's like better. Okay, the only place I've ever, I rarely go is like Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, my wife and I used to make the trek.
Wingstop's better.
Wingstop's better, and it's cheaper. Like,
I don't want that now tonight.
Oh,
maybe I'll plan on it for tomorrow.
If I talk about wings, I want them. Like it's a pizza and wings. I am destined to be in youth ministry because it's like, oh, pizza, sure. Like we had pizza 4 times this week. Yeah, I'm still ordering it for the teens. That's dinner and lunch tomorrow. Like
my buddy can't take that many hits of something now. I can probably do 2 days in a row, but 3 starts really pushing it on my body. My
thing is as long as I only have 2 slices.
Oh, okay.
If I limit myself to 1 to 2 slices per outing, we're good.
See, that's...
It's when I start to dip into the 3-4 slice where it's like, oh yeah, I've been here for 2 hours. I better have a 3rd slice before I go. Yeah, that's when we start to get the tummy rumbles. Have you ever taken a dark shower?
Is that what the light off, or is there something else behind it? Oh, yeah.
oh no. It is with the light
like,
off.
Okay, yes. I wonder if this is like, have I put on like
welcome to the dark shower? Oh.
We might be going down a terrible track here, but yes. I was gonna say this sounds like it could be problematic. No, I definitely have taken dark showers, especially actually. I like taking my baths in dark. I don't like the light on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Follow-up questions galore. Do you have like a candle or anything for the bath or is it like pitch black?
It's pretty dark. We do have like a little like string lights that we have in a little jar. Okay. So there's a bit of light in the corner of the room. But when I do remember, I'll throw a candle in here and there. Especially my wife tries to do it as a way to like remind me to be like, if you're gonna do it, go all the way and just enjoy it. And I try to remember. But what's funny with the candle is I do want it. Depends how much I want to. If I'm just wanting to enjoy the bath and just edge, like to me, the point of like feeling like I'm starting to sweat and then I'm good. No candle. But for when I have a candle, even if it's really small, I feel like I just start sweating bullets and it just heats up the room like crazy. And I don't know if that's the case with just the mental thing or if that's the truth.
So I think, and this is going to be a wild statement, but as I'm sitting here processing what you've said, the dark bath is almost the wildest thing I've ever heard. And I'm going to explain why. For me, a dark shower, which is almost 100% of the time I'm taking a dark shower, including this morning. Okay. There's a sound component to a shower that even though the light's off, it alerts those that might be in the house or otherwise there's something going on in that room. There's a shower happening. If I'm in the bath, dude, there's no noise.
Yeah, it's very quiet.
And it's dark. Dude, you could scare the life out of somebody. I almost want to call your wife. Sunday, I'm probably going to ask her, hey, has Pedro ever scared you terribly taking a dark bath and you walk in and he's like, hey, babe, it's like, why are you there? And the lights are off, unless she knows you do it. But like,
I don't know. There might be only once where I remember, I don't know if she was like scared, but I think she was a bit surprised because most of the time I only take baths either everybody's gone. It's part of like the relaxing routine or at night. And I'm one of those people, those rare people I don't know, that part of the reason why I like doing the dark bath is I'll fall asleep and take a nap.
In the bath? Dude, you're going to drown.
And so you're like, mom would tell me the same thing when I was a kid. She was always thinking I was going to drown. I was like, I remember once hearing this when I was like a teenager in high school. It's like, your body's not that stupid. If you hold your breath, you don't die. And that's the first time I ever heard that. I'm like, you'll go under, but then you'll like not in the bath if you're just doing it, like walking around. It's like, and then you'll just, eventually wake back up. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing that in the bath, but like if I start going under, I imagine I'm gonna realize I'm drowning unless I took unless I took some kind of medication.
NyQuil's himself.
So I'm like, yeah, I might get waterboarded for a second and start drowning. But I've never sunk underneath. Plus, baths aren't that. I mean, ours is a bigger bath, but
yeah,
like I've never sunk underneath.
That's the other thing. I don't fit in it. Like this is. Oh yeah. I don't fit in it. I honestly just I'll be like, oh gosh, my back is brutal, and she goes, just take a bath. It helps. I was like, there's not a chance that me getting.
It's like a tub,
pretty sturdy.
It's got the jets. We bought it partially because it had that component.
Anna, I might have to release a like Anna's cut for this episode where she doesn't hear you say that, because she's convinced that I promised this special bath when we moved into this house. I was like, that didn't happen, which it might be like we said at the beginning of the episode, a thing that I did say and then I forgot about it immediately. Have you ever eaten an orange in the shower as if it's an apple?
No.
It's like you peel. Have you ever eaten anything?
I've never done
shower
that at all.
Oh,
okay. Not even inside the shower. Why would? Who does that and for what reason?
Well, I mean, there's something about eating an orange. Like normally you have to like peel it and do the plugs, but like if you eat it like an apple, it's just juice everywhere. Huh. But if you're in the shower, there's no consequences. Like it's just, yep, there's juice. But this invention is taking it all away. Who cares where the juice goes?
No, I definitely. That's a good point. I have never. I'm sure I've eaten something in the shower, specifically only when I take probably a bath. But I have eaten. Bath snacks. Well, I'm sure there's a word for it. Eating while it's going out the other end.
Yes.
So like you kind of are
toilet snacks? Or
is that like... yeah? I mean, I rarely do that, but I have done it before when I know I'm on there for a while or I've been hungry and I need to go to the bathroom.
Can you remember anything? Because I've heard some wild stuff eaten on the toilet.
No, it wasn't that wild. I remember it's nothing that's like, like I have a whole like like a chicken and rice dish on my lap, and suddenly it just goes everywhere.
So Chris Luckman from the church, he holds it with wings. Like, ribs, like barbecue ribs.
But what do you get? What's he do? Just get a bunch of toilet paper?
That's what I said. I was like, what are you doing with this? Like, what are you doing now? He goes, it's fine. I was like, I know you don't just grab paper and start wiping with barbecue sauce on your hand. Like, that's putting barbecue sauce where it shouldn't belong, that's bringing a brown into an equation where anytime that there is a brown that you have to track, now you've mixed it and there's no telling what's what. Like, nope. If I wipe and anything is brown, I go, well, I have failed. And this hand's off limits until I get that water on.
What else are you going to do, though, with it? I mean, I still don't want it on there because I feel like even if I wash my hands 5 times, you'll still smell it for a little while.
You have to wipe before you get up. I mean, that's... all I could think he didn't give his
straight
defense.
To the shower guy. I've heard some people that are go straight to the shower right after you've eaten and gone to the bathroom, and now everything gets clean.
Shower ribs might be a new trial.
I feel like that one makes more sense.
Shower ribs. If you did like not a barbecue sauce rib, but just like a
rub,
like a dry rubbed. Ooh, okay.
We're gonna get hungry.
And you knew it was coming, but have you ever performed a waffle stomp?
No.
Okay.
But I will say,
wait,
I would say I'm sure there's a word like performing a drain on your bathroom with for natural causes, and by that I mean one of the longest times I've ever gone like going to the bathroom was about 8 days. 8 days.
Whoa.
In that context, and it was because it was the first time I was on a camping trip with the youth group when I was a teenager, and I couldn't do it because you're always around people nonstop for the entire trip, and it's a week long. So I'd go like the night right before we leave, and then that night we get back, and so it saved up so much.
No way.
And I'm not a big guy, so I don't know the size, but it was.
Oh, size does not matter.
It was so long, like it came out mostly in one long thing that I tried to flush, and of course it doesn't flush. I don't remember there being a plunger in our area at home, so I remember in the middle of the night, everybody's sleeping. I have to sneak around,
get the poo knife,
get. I think. Well, it was in there, so I think I had to barehand it. Sadly, I think now we have gloves. I had to reach in there, to cut it, to basically cut it up. And yes, I washed my hands in shower after many times. I remember like washing my hands a ton, but like having to do that because it was just so plugged up and so bad that I had to find a way to do it. Now there's plungers as well as, of course, I have gloves in our bathroom in case anybody ever has anything. There's such a thing.
I think it's a gag gift that you buy people that have big jobs, but it's just like it looks like a butter knife, but it's a little thicker, and it has a little holder, and it's a gag gift.
Does it extend out? Because you're still gonna have to stick your hand in. I
don't know.
Are you talking about it's still floating up before you flush it?
You just dice it up in the toilet.
Well, yeah, I just remember, mine was so bad. I remember after that, it's funny, I've had a couple people I've told about that issue before where I'm like, I do a specific place and have like certain people, and I remember one person was like, I don't know why, but that makes me angry. I feel like stomping you should not stomping, being like that you need to be in such a comfortable position to go to the bathroom. He's like, someday when you really have to go, I'm just going to sit right outside your door.
I do understand it. One of my roommates in college was pee shy, And like, he always said, "Oh, dude, just I need everybody like," and I'm like, "Shut up, like, you're fine." But then one day, no joke, like you can hear him. He's midstream, and he thinks he's alone in our townhouse. And my other roommate and I were like, "Yo, Trav," and you hear the stream, silent, just cut the stream. He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What you doing?" "Just going to the bathroom." We're like, "All right, when you're done, like we're gonna head out." And we're like sitting on the couch, nothing. And he goes, "You guys still out there?" And we're like, "Yeah." He goes, "All right, well, just head out to the car. We'll be right there." We're like, "What is going on?" And then sure enough, we open the door and you hear just the pee start again. We're like, "What?" Midstream, just cut it. And I was like, I can't even do that if I try.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm happy that I haven't had like issues from both ends, but I was gonna say that's.
Oh, I can't stop that end either.
Like, I think you just have to kind of be like when I talk to my wife or when I talk to people, like I realize differences like very like mentality, because I feel like when things are so loose and I just take things not all serious and I'm just able to just almost not care and be open about everything, it's easier for me to get stuff started. But otherwise, it feels like my body seriously like it like will lock up even if I'm trying to fight against it. It's a weird like mechanism where it feels like. It's like a self-preservation skill.
We got to get you some dragon fruit. Dragon fruit will clean you. Really? That's the worst I have ever been cleaned. Like
I'll try some.
I ate 2 yellow dragon fruit, and it was 3 hours of bathroom. Just
is it like
nonstop.
Dumb and Dumber scene?
Yep, yep. To the point where I was right here, and it's so vigorous that Anna is out there. I don't even know what she's doing. She goes, "Are you pooing? Like, is that pee or poo?" Like that's how liquefied it made the whole thing. I was like, this is
that might be actually it's not bad if you want to clean yourself out, but I was gonna say
people are like, "Oh, I did a juice cleanse." I was like, no you didn't, because I've been down that road, and if you did it.
Please make sure you do a podcast too if you ever have to go through. I haven't had one, but I'd love to hear like what an enema's like. So
you see, it's on the list. So I have this list, and this might get cut because I'm almost afraid to talk about the fact that this list exists, because it's one of those things where it's like there's a handful of people that once you say like, "Hey, I got this list," they're like, well, "When you doing it? When you doing it?" Like, we know it exists, so now you have to. Coffee bean enema is a thing. Like, and it just gets everything moving. The colonoscopy is on the list. And the moment was when I had my vasectomy, I was like, do I do something and record this? And I did. And now it's like, oh, I did that.
Yeah, if you can go that far.
So where do I stop? And
it's a slippery slope, my friend.
It's a slippery slope. And I hope that the slippery is not from anyway.
Great plan.
Well, Pedro, we've been talking for a long time.
Yes, we have.
To close, do you have any bathroom wisdom to leave folks with?
Yeah, I was gonna say, leave it at least as good as you found it.
Yep.
When you go in, man, I feel like that's something I don't know, Mom taught me that specifically, but I still strongly believe that that's important, because I am that guy that will come in after and not let you forget.
Yeah.
In my house.
There's this idea that's like, oh, we shouldn't be judgmental, and I disagree. Because there's some things that are worth judging people about. And like when I come into a stall and it's just decimated, it's like, you're bad. Like I have made a judgment about who you are as a person, because if you leave this way, I know your car is just I bet the apps on your phone are just so disheveled. Like, that's going to get into some psychology of people, that people's phones stress me out. Sorry.
I didn't bring mine in here.
And my wife has pages of unfolded apps. Just, where is it at? I don't know. I'm like, how? How do you find anything? And then my buddy at the high school, he has no apps. He's got an iPhone. He's got nothing on his home screen. Not a single thing, not the text messaging app. It's all gone. It's his background. And I'm like, this is psychotic. Well, I just searched for everything. I was like, this is crazy to me. he looks like it looks like a serial killer's phone. It's like, yeah, why would I have any evidence that I have a life on the home screen? Why, like, I have to remove all evidence, right?
No, I could see very much.
But nothing. Think about that.
The minimalist mindset, I feel like no one sees it.
Think about you log in and I've only got text message, phone, camera, calculator on the top. To me, that's like as minimalist as I could ever be. He has nothing. There's nothing there.
Are you sure it's even a real phone at this
point? It is, because I've had to use it. And I'm like, he goes, oh, just search for it. And I was like, this is crazy. And he's got games. It's all on there. He just searches for everything. It's crazy. Anyway, okay, so leave it how you found it, just like Smokey the Bear would want you to do.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, cool. Pedro, thank you for being here. I'm going to now do what I tell people is like me. If you've ever had a dog and your dog goes to the bathroom in the backyard, there's a moment in every dog owner's life where they watch their dog take a dump in the backyard. And it's always awkward because the dog can't sit right to do it. And the owner just watches the dog take the dump. And the dog knows that it's watching. So I'm going to close the show, and I'm actually the dog. And you're going to watch this because I always feel terribly awkward closing the show with someone on it. Haven't figured out how to get through that yet. So thank you so much for listening. Pedro, thank you for being here. If you want to find the show, it's all online. We have a website. It's out there, privy-cast.com. Go check it out. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Thanks to Kevin and Poddington for the use of your music. Keep pooping in the free world. Own your stank. Leave it like you found it. And now, as always, don't forget to flush. Just cram it right back here. Sweet deal.